Good morning, everybody. Thank you very much for joining our latest episode in our seminar about the use cases for 3D beyond the expected, beyond the anticipated. So we'll give everybody another minute and we'll start on time. And we'll introduce the panel and tell you a little about what we're going to learn today, and then hand it over to the experts to walk you through their presentations. All right, we'll give just another minute, start on time. I'm looking over here in the corner of my screen where I see the number of participants, and I see they're still going up rapidly. So that's good. And we'll give it another few seconds. Okay, that's a good number. Wow, great. Okay, so my name is Danny, and I head up Optitex Global Sales, and I'm very happy to welcome everybody and thank you all for joining our latest seminar. We've done a few of these already, and I see a lot of similar names or same names who participated in our others, and I'm very glad to see that. That tells me that people are getting value and are learning stuff. So just to set the stage a little today, everybody, I think everybody these days is aware of what 3D can do, how it can reduce the amount of sampling that's made, how it can speed up the time to market, make better product, I'm gonna say, et cetera, et cetera. But the conversation rapidly moves beyond that point because everything I just described really becomes business as usual. That's the way that 3D is used. That's the way that brands and fashion companies and manufacturers and OEMs, that's just the way that they work. But what next? What else can be done with 3D? How do we start moving into real digital transformation? And I don't know if you guys have had the opportunity to see our recent press release. There's a really exciting one that we did with Marks and Spencer and First Insight, and there you can learn about how they're using 3D assets in order to get predictive analysis, get the opinion of their future customers on a certain product line long before an order has been placed with the manufacturer. Do you like it like this? Do you see it like that? And the customers are able to see it in photorealistic 3D using our platform and are able to give feedback for that. And that's really just the tip of the iceberg. There's a lot of exciting stuff going on with 3D, and those very same assets that you've used to approve your product line will be used in other areas of the business as well. And certainly an exciting area for that is in range reviews and being able to view the complete collections. And we at Optitex are very proud of the fact that we don't invent everything. We work with leading companies, we work with exciting new technologies to bring you the additional value and to bring you benefit from the entire ecosystem, from the entire industry, and not just from our research and development labs. You want to hit the next slide over there, Nicole? Thank you. And to that point, I mentioned some of the seminars that we've done already. Learned about avatars, we learned about predictive analytics, as I just mentioned. And today, really excited to introduce you to Beyond XR. I think they have some really exciting technology, and we've had the opportunity to present to some customers together, and they all agreed. But we have two episodes left in this limited series. The next one is going to be on November 25th about collaboration when we're all stuck at home. And then finally with early costing, being able to cost out the price of a garment and or even design towards a particular price point. So those are coming. So please be on the lookout for an email. Come to us and register. Over to our experts. We're joined today by Nicole Callender, whom I'm sure many of you already know and have seen her on our previous episode. She's a returning star. And Eran Galil, who is one of the co-founders of Beyond XR. And I'm going to let him tell you all about the company on his company on the next slide. But I think there's one slide left, Nicole, some housekeeping. Yep. So we encourage questions. We're very excited to hear your feedback. So please send those questions through the chat function. And at the end of the event, we will go through them and do our best to answer them. If we can't answer them online, we'll respond to you afterwards with the answers. The event is being recorded, so you can share it with friends and family. Holidays are coming up. I'm sure the kids would love to watch it. So, yeah. So, Nicole, I think with this slide, I'm going to hand over the reins to Eran. And Eran, you're on.
Yep. Thank you very much, Danny. So hi, everyone. My name is Aaron, and I'm the CTO and one of the founders of Beyond. I'll talk about my company. I promise it's going to be short and painless, just a bit before the demo, because that's the highlight. In a nutshell, we're a startup. We're a 5 years old startup, which we've built and developed a very special cloud platform that allows you to get content and information and metadata from various source systems, some of them 3D, 2D media like Optitex, and ingest it into our system and allow the customers, which is the brands, the retailers, to present them in a very, very interactive manner to tell stories. Those stories can be range review, design reviews, sales stories. Eventually, you can take all those magnificent assets and build something and share it across the organization very easy and collaborate on that and increase the ROI because you're taking it onwards. So our main two lines of solutions are with those items or those assets are for apparel, our virtual showrooms for wholesalers and brands which wants to sell to pass forward what they have, and also for virtual merchandising. I'll focus mainly on the virtual showroom in this session, but I'll get you a glimpse that you will understand also what's possible, because once you have the assets, you can do all those crazy things and present them onwards with the assets. Next slide, please, Nicole. So really, when you're thinking about it and taking all the assets which were built, you put a lot of labor and hard work in building the assets, you really want to take this forward and you want to tell the story. And this is why we built our platform, to allow you to take it in quickly and play with it, present it, add content, add media. Like you really can insert whatever you want there and create your very immersive catalog, present that in 3D and AR, with a mannequin, without mannequin, folded, in a room, on a merchandising, on a stand. Whatever you need, you have the tools to tell your story and to review what you've done and to review it internally and both externally. So it's part, together with Optitex, we are now doing part of the 3D digital revolution, and especially these days, we see every customer going towards that and understanding that it's not just the physical equivalent of the digital twin, but it's something which is a crucial part of their business. So next slide, please. On a nutshell, again, very, very basically, we can take almost every type of media and 3D and assets and information in. On top of our platform, we are connecting to the outbound system and inbound system and present it in very, very visual 3D, 2D, AR, and with all the analytics of whatever you do there. So you can present it in various ways, measure everything, unlike static PDFs that you don't have a clue what's happening with that. So everything is measurable, everything you can improve. You can really, really see how your buyers or even your sellers are doing and working, and what's working and what's not. So that's in a nutshell. And thank you, Nicole, and can take the next slide.
Great, thanks, Aaron. So right now, everyone, we're going to start off with the live presentation. So just to let you know that in this session, we're going to show and explain how the creation of the 3D assets, let's say, for example, from the development and the design stages, can be utilized within Beyond, and what are those key benefits. So I'll show my screen, and I will present to you the solution. So as all of you are aware, I'm sure all of you are aware if you've been following our sessions, Optitex offers a full end-to-end solution that really helps brands, retailers, suppliers utilize their digital 2D and 3D assets throughout their supply chain. So it's not only about 3D, it's also about 2D. We do have that full end-to-end. But right now, today, as I mentioned at the beginning, we're going to really focus on the presentation aspect of having to get those assets into range reviews, into presentations, as which we'll then connect with Beyond. So just to briefly show you here within Optitex, really the key is focusing about prepping the 3D styles for the presentations. So as you can see, I have my 3D asset here. We're working in the Optitex solution. So one of the things that, as I hope all of you have seen, is that we've been using a showcase item, which is this jumpsuit, and we want to bring it throughout the collection. So we might have used First Insight, and now we're going to show you how we can use it with regards to Beyond. So one of the important things is really about creating those different colorways when I'm going to do a presentation. So the idea, for example, is I might have it in different colorways. So within Optitex, we can create all of those different colorways and different prints within the system. So the objective here is, as you can see, we filled it with color, but the importance is how do I get that color in? So from a design perspective, if you're working with Adobe, for example, you could bring in those ACO color palettes into the system, or you can even use, for example, if you're creating Pantone palettes as well within Adobe Illustrator, we can actually even bring those palettes in as well. Okay, so for example, if I wanted to change, you see all the stitching is in white, I can just go in and check for my palette. So if I brought in the color palette from Adobe, I can then choose those colors, and then I have all of those references that would apply. Now, if I wanted to look at, for example, for Pantone, if I was working with a Pantone color palette that I created within Adobe, I can actually have that complete color palette. So I can bring it in completely and then search for those colors within the color palette range of Adobe, or I can create my own customized color palette. But the objective here is that you can either create your own color palettes, use the color palettes that we have available within Optitex, or bring them from outside parties such as Adobe. So again, using your own color palettes or your Adobe palettes. Now, one of the other things that's really important within the preparation for the style, because we want to get it as close as possible to a real sample, a physical sample. So one of the details that's really important besides the fabric and the color are the trims. So as you can see here within Optitex, we can actually work with different types of trims. And for example, right now we have a collaboration with YKK. And if I wanted to check and change the zipper head, I can actually go in and utilize those assets that we have in collaboration with YKK. So as you can see, they've provided us a full range of different zipper heads. So we can actually work with different types. So we can actually select, for example, one of these zipper heads, and now it will replace it from here. Okay. Also, another important detail is with regards to the stitching. So again, within Optitex, we can actually import different types of stitches, or you can actually use our default library. So as you can see here, I can use this default library with different flat lock, single lock stitch, zigzag, or you can even create your own. So we're very open to using those assets within the system. So it's not just a closed system. You can actually bring in any other type of stitch. So if I wanted to apply this stitch, I can apply it directly onto the garment, and then we would apply it, and it would change directly onto the style. Okay, so we can actually change that information as well within the style. Another thing, as I mentioned, we actually want to be able to work with a print. So I can actually bring in prints from Adobe. I can bring in PNG or JPEG files, and we can actually utilize this print. And if I wanted to be able to see how it feels in the 2D pattern, I can see it in the 2D space. or if I wanted to be able to see it in the 3D, I could see it in the 3D space. And what's really great here is that it gives the opportunity to be able to check the scale. We've actually had some of our customers who have been using this, and they see that the scale that they had originally chosen may not be the correct scale. So here, this gives them that added flexibility to change the scale to the proportion that they want, and they can actually see what it would look like on a 3D asset, not like on a flat sketch, which is not full on full scale. Okay, then from here, what we also have the possibility to do when creating or prepping the assets for the presentation is that we can actually say, okay, whether we want to have it with or without the avatar. So as you can see, I can actually export later on, which I'll show you in a moment, the asset with or without the avatar. I can then also create or use, we have some preset poses. So we can actually use these different types of poses within the within Optitex to create the asset. So when we're going to generate the images, we can use these poses. If you actually attended our other session with regards to avatars, you could actually bring in other types of avatars, which is, for example, if they're from Alvanon or which they're from DAZ. We can actually bring those avatars inside to the system and actually use them as to simulate for the presentation. So this also gives like the designers that added flexibility of not just using one particular avatar. They can actually use any other types of avatars that they want to use to help promote the product or promote the collection that they're presenting. Then also what we can also do within the system is to help us or to help the designer or help the team that are developing the collection, we can actually even create some preset zooms. So that means that you can create a preset table with all the different types of zooms of your garment so that we don't have to each time set it up and say, okay, I need to take a snapshot of this to be able to see the simulation. Okay, so this is really great. I'll even show you later on what is a true value of what these preset zooms will help us. Then from here, what I then can do is you can see we're still working in what we call the rendering. It's OpenGL, but then I can actually pass this garment or this simulation to photorealistic. Now, this really gives us the power of seeing the simulation in high quality rendering. That means that the texture or the shadow of the garment will be seen differently within the system. So we'll be able to actually see like if it looked like a physical garment. While this is rendering, what we could do is I can even show you some other types of simulation windows. So for example, if I had, for example, this trench coat and it's already been rendered, and as you can see here, we can actually see like the different shadows, the different textures. It might take a little while depending on your internet connection, but if I were to zoom in, we would actually be able to see a little bit the texture. It might take a little while to render, but we'll actually be able to see the high quality rendering. So again, Optitex includes a full library of different textures to be able to see those simulations. So we'll be able to actually see that information when generating the images. Another option we also have when talking about rendering is that we actually even have the possibility to see the rendering with transparency. So that allows us to give even more realistic results when generating the images. So we can actually see if your fabric has some form of transparency or has a form of satin, any type of information that you have with regards to the texture to give you that more realistic feel and look when presenting. Then from here, if we wanted to be able to show, for example, even like flat CADs, we can also do that as well. So if you're presenting, for example, in your collection, types of t-shirts that you want to be able to present for a particular range, and you wanted to be able to give an overall look of what like a flat CAD would look like, we usually call it a flat CAD, a flat 3D CAD. So we can actually simulate those options here within Optitex. And then you can actually create all of those colorways. So if you had maybe like a variation of 10, 15 different colorways, you can actually create those colorways within the system. So we can actually view it here within the same window within Optitex. Then from here, once we have all of those assets prepared, the objective is to be able to generate the images. So what we would do here is we have the option to save the image. And now we have a one-step option to basically say, how do we want to do our renders? So for example, here, I always want to do it in photorealistic because I want that high quality rendering to show the texture, to show the shadows, to show all the detail of what I want to present. Then you also have the option to say, okay, what do I want? Do I want just a single image, depending on what I'm going to present, or do I want the 360? So that means the 36 images or the 360 degree, where the system will generate those images. Now, what's great is that here, once we have our product open, our 3D asset ready to generate, we can then choose the views. I don't know if you recall, I had the preset views before. So if I had to use preset views on this particular garment or on any other garment that I wanted to be able to, or asset, 3D asset I wanted to simulate, I can actually choose those views automatically here. And at the same time, I can also choose all of the colorways. So if I had like the blue, the red, the pink, I can choose all of those colorways and the system will generate those images, whether in a JPEG or PNG format. And then I can even say the resolution. Now, one of the things is that we all realize is that generating these images do take some time. And we do have some customers who are using what we call, well, I don't have one here connected, but we do have some customers who are connected to a rendering server. So that means that all of the images, like for example, that you see here of this full collection that you see at the bottom, that I wanted to generate all of these images, I could send it to a rendering server. And then from there, the system will just receive the job and just render those images. So I don't utilize the resources of my computer, and this will save you time because then I'm just sending those tasks to the server, and then at the end of my day or after I have my coffee, I can then go and have those images and then be able to use them for my range review. Okay, so now we're going to see how all of those images that I've shown you within this presentation, how we can utilize it within Beyond XR. So now I'm going to pass the hand to Aaron.
Thank you. Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can.
I hope you can. Great. So thank you, Nicole. Move on where on the continuation of what Nicole showed you is with Beyond Optitex. Together with Beyond, what we did, we just took all the assets that she showed and the creation, the folder, the mannequin, and the 3D. Easily downloaded it from from Optitex and upload it, drag and drop, upload it to our catalog, to our showroom, and really in a few hours I'll show you what was created. It's very easy to either build it initially and then play with it. You can drag videos and all media and items. Basically, what you build a presentation around your catalog, and this presentation can be whatever you want it to be, as rich or as poor or as diverse as you like. Of course, the advantage is that everything is interactive. So when you're showing a slide like that, that's the product themselves. So you can go into the products, that's the product detail page. And inside the product detail page, you get all the things in very high quality, and all the design we can get up to. We do some optimization with loading in a progressive manner, so we can bring in very high-res images from Optitex and present it almost seamlessly on web. Nothing needs to be installed. Of course, all the metadata here on the side can be customized for specific types of apparel or fashion, and you can divide it into groups. So let's see, for example, I can even see what are the other styles here on the board. I can navigate. It's very easy to navigate and control around the presentation, and then you don't have to load now your presentation with all your collection, because you can put the highlighted items and then drill into the additional types and put some inspirations, and can put some video inspiration and so forth. So here, for example, are the famous jumpsuit burgundy that Nicole showed. You can even show, and we have customers doing that, show the process behind, or show the tag packs, or show the video of the person holding it. You can make it a very rich kind of representation to the item. Of course, where the highlight is that you can get to take all the images that you rendered in Optitex and show it here, and of course show also the 3D and get a very close look with all the features and all the items. And again, this is all pure web, run on the web, accessible from any browser, also on iPads. So that's very easy and very cool to collaborate with. You can do beside that also videos if you want to present the item, or people presenting the items, or whatever you want, is depending on the creativity of the designer team. So really now what you have is what our customers do, they have like, we call it the XR catalog. It's a catalog which is very immersive, meaning it can grow for any type of media and videos and 3D and recommendations. So eventually it becomes, everywhere you use it in future presentation, you have a very rich option of presenting it. Moving on, what's very important, you see this button, you can use this you can do this as actually saying, okay, this is my wish list. This is these are the things that I would like later on as a client. I'm now viewing it as either as a seller that's showing my client, or even a client doing it himself. You can see here are the folded. I can say, okay, these are like these ones. I like this one as well. I like this one. I can even directly add it to an order. I created a test order, and I'll show you later what that means to complete the whole process. And that's dress that was chosen. And now, see all the items that you've seen before. Now you can see it. Everything on the web. Everything is very easily shareable. Okay, so now if I would have taken this URL and shared it with someone else, I would have gotten to direct it into this slide. So everything is deep linked, so you can really easily collaborate internally and externally on all the items that you see. Another interesting thing of collaboration is that you can add comments. So you can say, okay, I want smaller dots. I know that you didn't present it on this dress, Nicole, but for example, you can use it as a tool. Now that's interesting because we have customers that use it as a tool for communication, but we have also customers which use it as bookkeeping, meaning that you're already presenting to someone. I want to capture all the comments where they are in context of the item that you see, and then they're kept forever. You can, of course, later on go into them, mark them complete, or even collaborate on that. So you can use this as even bookkeeping and tracking of every meeting and every presentation you ever did for your showroom, internally and externally. So that's something very powerful in that sense. Here are, again, another type of items, and you can present. You can decide what to present. If that item, you can present only one of them. You can decide if you want on the board to present the front view or the back view or whatever you want, and give it the right presentation. And for example, in this jeans, you can show collection, and additionally, you don't even need to show all the collection. You can show just colors and use colors. There's a lot of way to design, and we offer with our designers, with our experience of seeing a lot of that, some templates and ideas of how to build those and how to create, according to your, if you have a small catalog, you want to highlight items, or you have a big catalog. The point is that you now have something very interactive. So you can start with something like this, for example, and then even go towards merchandising ideas or merchandising inspiration, and to even more complete things, wall galleries, to show how the items that were designed, and that's the beauty of 3D. You can take it from any axis or any side and really show how a stand with those items will look like, either as a recommendation or as inspiration, or even measuring size. So there's a lot of usages for that. Let me just add one other item, and I want to show you how that completes the loop. So if now I'm here on a client environment, this is my demo client, I can go to the order, and here I can take a look at the assortment and say, okay, these are the assortment that I've seen. We have customers which don't use the order, and just as the assortment, they export that to Excel or PDF or whatever. But you can also say, okay, I do want to take this to the order. Sorry, I was already product news. Yes, let's take this one. So you can say, give the quantities, and eventually create that. Now in the order integration, that's important. We integrate with all major systems, so we can integrate with order systems or other B2B platform like New Order, Jure, or ERPs, if it aims, or Century others. If we're not doing the fulfillment, we're giving a means to create the order and submit it, or export it to Excel and take it onwards. But this allows you to do a self-service way to do it from the beginning, from the storytelling. You can even put company background up to the actual closing of the sales. And the nice part is that you can either do it yourself, which is done today a lot through Zoom, or what you can do here is you can go here, share, and I want to share this environment with someone from demo client, and you're putting his email, is registering, self-service registration, and he will see only the showrooms that you allow him to see, and only the catalogs you allow him to see, and only his assortments. So it also allows you to start to share and let others in a self-service manner say what they like and comment, and you can start to communicate with them. Just to complete the journey and the story, another type of storytelling, if you like, if I'll go to the showroom, and this is like the showroom view, I'll return to this. So you can choose to do something like that for merchandising or ideas or inspiration. And I want to show you if you have the assets or don't, or if you're using it, another way for you to do not just like one stand. One of our additional solutions, which is working in conjunction with the same catalog, is our virtual showroom. Here you see the same items here. It's like a 3D virtual store simulator. This can be used both for continuing the journey, so you can actually go around and see, let's see, what are the options that I have for mannequins. What sometimes people do, customers put, and this is an actual system of Calvin Klein, they put all the promotional here, and all the videos if they like, and even the products, so you can continue to see the product as a live products and what they are and what are their benefits. So this can be used both for selling and also for merchandising. We have customers using it for different persona depending on the use case, and this is something very powerful because eventually you really can get a feel of especially today in Corona area, we have many customers who say, I have a showroom staying, it is empty, nobody comes there, or it's very hard for me to come there. I want to give some kind of an experience of visiting the showroom, and then I do want to continue the story to show my catalog and to be able to control it and be able to sell through that. So the combination of those of this 3D tour or store simulation, then with the boards, gives the perfect combination of a story that you can tell to your customers. That's it, Nicole, I think, as a nutshell. As a really fast, you want to go, let me just stop sharing my screen. And
Great, thanks, Aaron. Danny?
Yep, let me figure out how to put my camera back on over here. Great, okay. Thank you very much for that. That was really exciting. I've been working in this space for the past 6 years, and being able to watch the evolution of not just our product, but watching the evolution of how our customers, how the users are pushing this forward and demanding more, and businesses are expecting more, is really fantastic. And being able to see that the innovation coming from outside companies like Beyond XR, I think was really great. So thank you for that. To further summarize, what we just showed you was really an end-to-end process of being able to create the range in 3D, and of course you would be able to iterate and change and check fit all along the way. But then, as I've been saying, go beyond that. Take that 3D asset, take that garment, and apply it to other areas of your business to not only save on the bottom line, but to also increase your top line. And you'll increase your top line with the bottom line savings paying for your new innovations. You'll have happier customers. You'll be able to innovate with the ways in which you engage with them. And ultimately, better product, better margin, faster, and more what's the word I'm looking for? More less impacting on the environment. Nicole, you seem to know what I'm talking about. I forgot the term, but sustainable. Yeah. Thank you. That's where
sustainable, exactly.
So apparently I need to get that second cup of coffee. So with that, I thank our panel and of course everybody for joining. And I think we'll hit over to some questions. So we have quite a few. We'll do our best to go through them. So that's what I'm looking at over here. So Nicole, let's start with you. So we have there's all sorts of systems out there, such as Beyond and others, for PLM systems, etc. So that means that you need to have a variety of formats that we can export in. Could you share some light onto what type of file formats can we export to?
So when we're talking about the 3D assets of like the images that we're talking about, like that you want to export, let's say for example with Beyond, we did a various export of different file formats. So the standard ones for images, we used JPEG or PNG, relatively PNG because that gives us the transparent background. So it's easier to manipulate when placing them inside the range review. But then sometimes like if you wanted to actually have the 3D asset, we did export in the format of FBX, or which is the standard for us at Optitex, but we do also export into other formats such as OBJ or IGES. But the standard that we've seen relatively within all other solutions or collaborations that we've been working with, the standard has been either has been FBX.
I think the operative term there is standards. We support
Yes,
standard. Yeah, cool.
exactly.
Okay. And Iran, over to you. There's a question over here about AR. Can you, do you guys work with AR? Can you present in AR?
Yes. So having the 3D on the web, we use the 3D web capabilities. So once we have it in the showroom, and if you're using an AR compatible device, you can present that. You can present the items in AR, of course, next to you. Usually it's done better for mannequin, not for ghost models, because ghost models are a bit creepy to see next to you in AR, maybe in Halloween. But besides that, seeing like with a mannequin and seeing up, in real life, real size, that's something that can be really cool.
Great. Okay. And back to you, Nicole. You demonstrated garments. What about accessories?
Yep, yes, we definitely can work on accessories as well. So for bags, backpacks, duffel bags, we even have customers who are doing for, let's say, hand accessories like gloves, hats, caps. So we can do anything that's like a cut and sew type of asset, a 3D asset. We can definitely work on within the system.
Great. Okay. And there are questions here, Nicole, about learning the platform. How long does it typically take?
So the platform, when we talk about 3D, so it's divided in two portions. As say, for example, the part of the 2D, because we do have to teach the users how to use 2D. If they do have a good knowledge of 2D capabilities, that helps. So with the 2D and 3D, it's approximately 5 days. But we definitely now, of course, with COVID, we're now doing a lot of our sessions, most of our sessions are being done online. So we do cater to doing the online sessions. Normally they're approximately like a 2-hour session with the customer. So that's one format of doing online training, but we also have the possibility of the customer can also look into e-learning. So we do have an e-learning platform that has it's subscription based, and the customer can then refer to those online courses at any time, anywhere during their subscription to learn about both 2D and 3D as well.
Okay, great. Thank you. And Iran, over to you. There is a question over here about asking for further clarification about integrating into an external catalog or ordering system.
Yeah, good question. What we can do, we have an integration backend system that allows us easily to integrate. So we can either do Excel or CSVs as a baseline, or integrate that to external system as a catalog. So like pull the system up to our repository, internal repository. We don't aim, of course, to replace anything. It's just usually like a copy catalog. And downstream, usually we're doing the order when submitting the order, as I showed in the presentation. You can either do it manually, and sometimes this is what happens on the first step that's being done. We're exporting the order as a CSV and then seeing that it fits to the end system, to the end ordering, or integrate that automatically when you do approve. There was an approve button there. When you do approve, it's automatically transmitted to the right part of the ordering system for that client.
Well, okay, thank you. So here's a question to both of you guys, and it's around collaboration. So I see questions of sharing and collaborating, because the industry certainly doesn't work in a bubble, and there's collaboration going on around the world. So Nicole, we'll look at this as like a process. How does one share or collaborate or how does a brand collaborate with a supplier, or vice versa? You know, how does the supply chain share content that they're creating with a brand? And then we'll move that question over to you, Eran.
Well, that's a good question, Danny, because actually in our next session, which is in 2 weeks, we'll definitely be talking about how we can collaborate with how brands and retailers and suppliers can collaborate together using our OCloud platform. So that'll be really interesting because it'll be the new platform, a new and improved with new features and new details platform. And basically it's through Collaborate. Currently what we're doing now with many of our customers is they're using the Collaborate solution to be able to see the first initial fit session. So if they needed to see it online, that means, again, they could be anywhere at any time, or they can actually have initial fit sessions. We have customers who are doing, for example, they'll do a Zoom session and every one of the teams, the different teams will connect and they will give their comments, or if they prefer, they can use the OCloud platform and then add their additional comments and be able to see the garment in that 3D space, in a real 3D space, without even having the Optitex solution. So this is great because you could be anywhere at any time.
Cool, okay. And Eran?
And in our case, we're complementing the other side of the collaboration, where you want to collaborate and get all the feedback from the sales when you're getting the inputs from all the meetings. So we're keeping track of all that. Ideally, we can make every meeting in your history of your brand a showroom. You know, it's a digital. It's only the metadata. So every meeting can be a different showroom, and then you can keep track of it. And every session, you know, someone wants to have something different, can collaborate, send a copy, return another copy. It's very easy for you to track everything and to capture all the comments and to send them over then to the designers. So then you can modify the design, for example, or use it in the next design review meeting. When they're getting all the collaboration, all the comments from the meeting, from the showrooms. Okay, so it's very easy. Again, and everything web-based, like Nicole said. In our case, that's how we build the system grounds up. Is everything has to be completely web-based, nothing to be installed, and everything can run on any device. So that was very important, and it really, it really opens up all boundaries.
Great. Okay, thank you. So there's another question here. Maybe I'll respond to this one. Where can we purchase the software? Where are your representatives and your offices located? So Optitex is located around the world. We have offices in Hong Kong, supporting Asia Pacific, offices in India and Delhi and Bangalore, then moving over to our US headquarters in New York. Over to Europe, we have offices in the UK. Nicole is based just outside of Madrid. We have offices in Italy, and our R&D center is based in Israel. So really, any place that might be relevant, well, the relevant office and out of where I just described is how you could reach us through our website. Easiest just to click on a link, please contact me, and we'll reach out quickly. Eran, how do people contact you?
Okay, so we don't have that amount of offices around the world. So the website starts with the same thing. We have offices, sales office in US, in New York, and R&D center in Israel and Eastern Europe. So basically through the website, and we're working a lot with partners like Optitex to help promote us, or where can be contacted directly through our website. We'll be happy to comply.
Great. Okay. So thank you for that. Nicole, if you could just go back to the yeah, that's the one. Okay. So wow, we're more than halfway through our seminars. Very exciting. Time flies when you're stuck at home in a zombie apocalypse. But so we're going to meet again in another 2 weeks to discuss remote collaboration. We touched on it a few different times during today's, but there's a whole additional solution that got a major upgrade and we're about to release. So we look forward to sharing that with you. And of course, our final episode for the year, costing. How do you cost this stuff out in real time and make sure that you're achieving your target pricing, and if not, being able to identify that much faster. So I'm going to say thank you again to our panelists. Thank you again to all of you for taking the time to join us. I hope you found it educational and beneficial, and look forward to our next session and speaking with you guys again. Thank you, everybody. Bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.